Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. Joined with me, as always, Viking Dave, and we have our beautiful guest, friend of the podcast, two-time returner, Gerson Aguirre, pro ranker over at Fantasy Pros. Follow him on Twitter, Fantasy GDFS. What is going on, guys?
NFL draft is finished. That was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It always is.
Dave, you got to be happy with your pick.
I'm glad with Addison. I was happy to get Addison. I wanted a receiver for months now, since the season ended. So yeah, I was happy with that pick.
And you got to be happy with Mayer over there at Las Vegas, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I knew they traded Waller away to get a tight end, but I didn't think they'd get Mayer. I was like, oh damn, we're not gonna spend a tight end pick at the 1-0 whatever early on. They're like, whoa. I'm like, no way, dude. Not 107. We're not spending tight end. But in the second round, when I saw Mayer fall, I'm like, hell yeah, dude. And as a Raider fan, we've been very disappointed with all the picks in the last 5 years. We've gone from Henry Ruggs, Alex Leatherwood. It's just Colin
Henry Ruggs. That was the draft that Justin Jefferson got picked too.
And so when I didn't mind Tyree Wilson, but I did have worries about his foot issue. Dr. Norm Chow, he's a great doctor, by the way. Free information on Twitter. And he gave his opinion. I'm like, oh my goodness, why did we draft this guy? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, he's very productive. He's good. But as a Raider fan, I'm happy with the Mayer call for sure.
Cool. Before we dive deep into these picks, because we don't have trivia, we don't have any news, we just have the picks, the rookies we're going to go through. We're going to go through some the Swift trade as well. I just do want to let my audio listeners know you can find us on YouTube at Fins Talk Sports Network on YouTube. We're here live every single Sunday night, so please come in, join the conversation. What's going on, Anthony? Live shout out on the podcast as well. He's always here, so come on, join on in. We're having fun over here. 827 subscribers. That's a huge bump from the draft. Last time I checked, we had like 819. So good. That's awesome, man. Let's get straight into the draft. Right into it. Let's go right to the quarterbacks. The big four, or some might say there's a big five, but Bryce Young, Carolina, CJ Stroud, Houston, Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis, Will Levis, Tennessee, and Hendon Hooker went to Detroit. Now, Viking Dave, out of the big three, the first rounders, which one do you think landed in the best situation? And which one do you think is the best overall talent? Because I don't think me and you have had this conversation yet.
The best situation? I don't know. I mean, when you're picking in the top five, is there a good situation? I don't think Houston's a good situation at all. They seem to not know what they're doing. Carolina, I feel like they're trying. They have some pieces. Indianapolis, it's just Anthony Richardson I don't like. So I don't think he's a good player necessarily. I mean, when you can't complete the passes in college, whatever, it is what it is. I've talked about it before. But he's probably in the best situation, I would guess. Levis, it's the second round pick now. That's a big time drop. I don't care what anybody says. And then Hooker, he always was a projected guy. He's a third round pick, but he can sit behind Goff for a couple of years. I think that's a good spot for him, to be honest, to be able to wait. So that's kind of where I'm at with these three. What about you?
Let's go straight to G. What do you think? You're the professional, or more. You know more about these guys than we do. Obviously, that's why you're on the show.
I think so. First thing first, because I'm a shit talker. His name is Will Levis, not Levis.
I say Levis. Wait, what is it? Kamara or Kamara? Because I still say Kamara.
When he's good, I'll call him by his right name.
It's Kamara.
Awesome. Got it.
I like to say it's Super Mario though. I get the inaccuracy problem, but if you look at the talent he had around him, and you look at the numbers, his pass catchers. So they do there's numbers where you do a pass radius catchable. His wide receivers don't run the routes that great, and I get it. We compare quarterbacks to the NFL level, right? But Anthony Richardson, the upside he has for fantasy football is incredible. We haven't had a quarterback this talented since probably Lamar Jackson, running wise, right? But there's Cam Newton. That's the comparison that goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's okay. But we're talking about Anthony Richardson to the Colts, right? He's my number one. I have CJ Stroud number two, and I have Bryce Young number three. And the reason why I have it like that way is because I see what they have around him. Anthony Richardson had Jonathan Taylor. He has Michael Pittman. He had Jelani Woods. I know Jelani Woods not a big name. People don't want him, but he's talented. But then he had Josh Downs. They drafted him in the a second day. You know, that's impressive because wide receiver draft capital mattered. And then we got Anthony Richardson. He's not going to start right away. I don't think he's going to start right away. But in Dynasty, we have to put this like in long-term perspective. We always do what? I do 3-year window, like for Dynasty. And right now, I think if there was a quarterback I'm just going to go all in on, it's going to be Anthony Richardson. I honestly have Anthony Richardson 102 in a super flex draft.
I'm glad you said that because if I needed a quarterback, and I was stacked at running back already, I think I am going 101 Anthony Richardson. It's happened in one of my drafts yesterday because the guy just straight up needed a quarterback, and that was his best. That was his best quarterback on this board. Grabbing him at 101 over Bijan might save your franchise, might save your dynasty roster. This guy could be a stud for 8 to 10 years. You don't know. Bijan could be great for 3 to 4 years, which is what we play for, 3 to 4 windows. But come on, it's hard to find these top tier quarterbacks, a guy that can do it like a Cam Newton did or like a Josh Allen's doing now. This guy's not accurate. I don't like that, but I don't care about accuracy when it comes to fantasy football. Obviously, you guys love Justin Fields. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about everyone listening loves Justin Fields because of his running, because of what he can do on the ground. So Richardson, give me that upside. Michael Pittman, you named him. He's a big target. I think they need one more big target. You said Woods. He's a big guy as well, but I just think they need one more big guy. I think they need a big guy there that can help with that catch radius that you were speaking about. Bryce Young, too little. I know people are like, oh, but everyone Drew Brees and Kyler Murray. Those guys were different. Kyler they were different.
Athletic.
Kyler has got a big booty, like I brought up last show, big booty energy with him and all the other young guys. Drew Brees was smart enough to manipulate a pocket and look over the offensive lineman. Can Bryce Young do that? I don't know. His legs are too skinny. His thigh. When I look at a quarterback, I look at their butt, I look at their thighs, I look at their legs because I want to see if they can drive the ball. He just looks like a tiny player that's going to last 3 years out of the league. I don't know.
You know what?
I'm not touching him.
Bryce Young looks like that high school football player out there as a quarterback. Like the bigger guy in high school. Like you don't want that to be your quarterback. Like that's the thing that's worrisome. He is probably the most talented arm-wise, but the thing is, in the NFL, there's only been very few quarterbacks that succeed. And now we're going to say the outlier is Drew Brees. Well, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now tell me another Hall of Fame quarterback that had the size of Drew Brees beside him. It's not Doug Flutie. Don't tell me it's Doug Flutie. Because he's not a Hall of Fame. Besides Drew Brees, there hasn't been a quarterback his size that has succeeded to the level he has.
No, you're 100% right on that. So it looks like CJ Stroud is that medium quarterback, like the I wouldn't say safest, but I would say right there in the middle. He's going to be starter day one, you would assume.
Davis Mills.
Yeah, maybe CJ Stroud will be drafted in top 4 in the Scott Fish Bowl like Mills was last year. I just don't. But you look at Houston, you look at the talent around them. There's not much, and the same thing you can say about Bryce Young. There's not much talent around him either. I heard somebody on the radio today, Terrace Marshall. Blah, blah. Stop.
I forgot they got Thielen. I completely forgot they got Thielen.
Yeah,
and DJ Chark and Hayden Hurst. So I mean, they have mediocre weapons.
You're just naming like a motley crew of receivers.
I know that. Trust me, I literally know that. That's why I said like, I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's move on from the top 3 because I want to get to this guy because Hendon Hooker going in the third round of Detroit in dynasty drafts. Where do we feel comfortable taking him? Did I take him too high at 20? Or is that kind of the sweet spot for someone that will start eventually? We just gotta wait.
It's so tough because I'm a Will Levis fan. I really am.
Ooh, that's why you corrected me on the name. I get it now.
So to me, is this sometimes the NFL draft for needs, sometimes the NFL draft for values, right? And we're the same way in fantasy football. Like, we have a roster, we have to think the same way. I think they drafted for value in the second round for sure. Well, they traded up, right?
Yeah, they did.
I believe that the reason why they didn't want him at the 111, because if he was falling, they realized those top 11 picks, those were quarterback need team. They didn't want him. Therefore, they took the risk to take him in the second round and trade up for him. But at the same time, I do believe that Hendon Hooker is talented, but his offense is very, I don't know if this is a word, gimmick.
Okay, a gimmick offense.
Like RG3 said on the live show at the NFL Network, I ran this offense. I love it. I love Hendon Hooker and all this. That's cool. But I think I'm going to take Will Levis for sure. I love Will Levis. I was high on him. I believe a lot of people were very harsh on him. But I think the guy can be, let's say you draft him one today. You asked me early on, have you been doing draft? And yes, I saw Will Levis go 111 in a super flex tight end premium, and I was shocked. I was like, all right, I'm going to take that value. So if I can get Will Levis from the 109 to like the 112, I'm going to take it.
Dave, are you surprised that he's going around 111, 19? I'm not. That's exactly where I thought he was going to go.
No, that's we talked about even before when we were talking about our drafts coming up soon. He'll go late first round, and he loses a little bit of value because he went to the second round, but he's still a quarterback that Tannehill's not going to be there long. Obviously, Willis ain't it, so he should get a chance, here soon. So I would say late first round is about where he should and probably will go. Hooker probably go early to mid second, I would think, in most drafts. Maybe late second, I guess maybe, but second round. So it all sounds about right to me, I think.
Yeah, who plays more time? Who plays more? Levis or Anthony Richardson this year? Because I think it's going to be Richardson, unfortunately.
I mean, when you pick that high, they got Gardner Minshew, who doesn't suck. That's the thing is Minshew can get them by. So if Minshew plays decently, you can give Richardson really does need some time. But then again, I see people saying, well, he needs to get in there and learn, which is also true. So it all depends on how good they are. If Minshew starts and they're, 500 team and they can, get some wins, he'll probably stay in. But if he gets in there and he's not great and, the team sucks and they're 1-7 or even worse than that, 1-3 at some point, they're just like, you know what, let's just play Richardson and see what we have. Let him learn as he goes. So it just kind of depends. I do think all those top three guys are going to get time at some point this season. They always do. Teams aren't that good. So I'd be surprised if they didn't. Levis has a little bit, he's got a veteran there that can get them by. So he might not play for another year. Although Willis played last year. So, you never know. And Hooker, obviously, he's out. He's not going to play this season.
Yep. Gotcha. Let's move on to the running back position. Before we get into the rookies, there was a trade that everyone was calling for after Detroit kind of screwed everything up with drafting Jahmyr Gibbs, which I hate, which we'll get to. DeAndre Swift to Philadelphia. We all wanted something like this. We all wanted the freedom of DeAndre Swift. Where do you stand with DeAndre Swift? Great move, obviously, but are you one of the haters that think that he's just not that good?
I'm not the hater, but here's the way I put it. The guy had opportunities in Detroit. Like, Detroit's one of the heaviest running back usage in the league. Like, they use the running back more than anybody. I mean, quite a bit. David Montgomery going there. They signed him to what? I believe it was like the third highest free agency contract. That proves something, right?
Yep.
And then you also have Jamal Williams leaving the team when he just scored 18 touchdowns. I believe it was like what was very high. Not 18
It was
touchdowns, but
it was
very,
8. No, it was 18.
it was 18.
Mhm.
18 touchdowns, like, and then Swift injury history. I mean, I know it's kind of fluky that he always gets hurt, but apparently Dan Campbell wanted to move on. He drafted Jamar Gibbs at the 111 and traded up to get him. Traded up.
Traded
Do you see
down.
how? What was that?
They traded down. They went from 6 to
Oh,
12.
they traded down. Sorry, they traded down to get him. Well, I think
Because they knew they didn't want to take him at 6. So, I mean, it makes sense to try to trade down.
I'm on
to
the
get him.
tracker right now. He was taken 12th overall. They
Yeah.
did trade down,
But
unfortunately.
they were 118, right?
Yeah, but they stayed at 18. They went from 6 to 12 with Arizona. I think it was
Okay,
Arizona.
cool. All right. So basically, when you make a move like that, it just proves that, all right, is he unhealthy? Is he this? Is he that? Like, I'm kind of curious. I didn't mind the move the Eagles made because it's just the Eagles. They won this draft. They shattered it. Like honestly, the Eagles were the winner of this whole draft.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I'm out on DeAndre Swift because I don't believe that when you sign Rashad Penny and you have Kenneth Gainwell, you drafted Kenneth Gainwell. I believe Kenneth Gainwell was a 3rd or 4th round pick, and then you have DeAndre Swift. That's a three-way split, and then you have Jalen Hurts as the guy that a rushing quarterback. It's gonna be very hard to make up for that value for DeAndre Swift. Because right now, I guarantee you, anybody that's trying to sell DeAndre Swift, they want a 1st-round rookie. Top 12, for sure.
Well, this is how it is. Kenneth Gainwell was a 5th-round pick. He's nobody. He's literally a nobody. The truth is, DeAndre Swift is instantly the most talented player in that backfield. Rashad Penny, he's probably got hurt right now as we're talking.
Yeah, he's
The
hurt.
guy is a walking injury. And people want to say DeAndre Swift gets hurt a lot. I think I saw a stat that he's missed 2.9 games per season over his career. That's not that much. It's not. He has never had a major injury. He gets nicked up again, and that's going to happen. That's the running back position. He's not any more off than anybody else. Period. It's not. It's a fact. He's the best running back in that backfield. He's electric. He makes plays. That offense has the receivers to keep everyone honest. They have Jalen Hurts to keep everyone honest. DeAndre Swift is gonna freaking ball out. Miles Sanders isn't even good. He's okay. Like, he's a good player. But he's not special. He had almost 1,300 yards rushing. All you need is exactly that. And I think that's what you can get. A good, solid rushing game. He's going to catch some passes, and he's going to get some TDs because they score so much. The team is just too good and too talented. Philadelphia traded for him. Gainwell is nothing special. Like, that guy's a bum. I mean, he's average. He's a fine little piece, but he's nothing, he's never gotten a good shot because he's not that good. Penny will get a couple carries because he's pretty good when he's healthy. The thing is, he's never healthy, and I don't think that's going to change. I think Swift is going to come out and do very good. He's not going to have 1,500 yards, but you don't need that. If he can give you 1,100 yards plus some catches plus some touchdowns, which is going to happen, then that's all you need, because that offense is too good to not support a really good player, in my opinion. So that's my opinion.
And I want to add on to this real quick. I know you want to counterpoint, but we're talking about Kenny Gainwell being a bum. He's not a bum. He's just not used. And they were using but they were using Boston Scott over Kenny Gainwell. And that should tell you something. That should tell you something. They were using
He's just
Boston
a guy.
Scott.
That's my point.
So exactly. He's just a guy.
Exactly.
So you make that move for Swift, and you're going to use Swift. And just everything you said, Dave, Miles Sanders isn't the most talented back in the world, but he was 6th in rushing last year. People forget that. And that's because of the offense. So you put in DeAndre Swift, who has that pedigree, who has that draft capital, that early round. He was a great prospect coming out. And he didn't fit into that Detroit system because he wasn't a rah guy or pound the rock or we're not losing. He wasn't one of those guys. So Dan
Campbell guy.
He was not. So therefore, he was moved out. This was a situation where he just didn't buy into whatever Dan Campbell was selling, which is totally fine. He just wasn't that guy. And I sat here and told y'all Jamal Williams did. That's why he got the ball. Dan Campbell's loyal to his guys and the guys that are buying his whatever he's selling, and he's going to give those people opportunities. So Swift was the odd man out. He went. Good for Philadelphia. He's a top 5 back this season going forward. I'm all in on it. And redraft, he's a top. Yeah, I do. I do think
I don't know about 5, but I think he's a top 10
I think
guy.
he's top
Absolutely.
5. I think he's top.
I
Yeah,
like him a lot, though. I'm
he
agree
could
with you.
with the touchdowns. With the touchdowns, because give me the running back that's going to score a lot, who's already super talented.
So you think DeAndre Swift's a top 5 back in Dynasty or like
No. Redraft going. I'm talking about redraft right now, but Dynasty, no, not top 5.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
I was gonna say.
No, but I think this year in redraft for this specific year, I do think he's gonna be a top 5 guy. But you're not there's no way in Dynasty. But I'm just super excited for it. Because if he finally gets his spot, I don't think he was given the opportunity you were saying he did. There's no way. There was always someone coming in taking stuff. Always.
I agree.
It hurt. I'm a Swift trooper though. I'm really a Swift trooper.
It gave him hurts.
Yeah, and it's gonna hurt a lot when we see those quarterback sneaks. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
With the offensive line they have, I think Swift had upside though for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like they got the great offensive line. They got Hurts that with the RPO options. The middle's so wide open.
What did Sanders?
You got the receivers. You can't just sit back and guard the run game because they got too much talent on that team.
Like I love the love you guys are giving for Swift. My problem is he always gets hurt. And
I literally just proved you wrong. He's been hurt on average less than 3 games per year. Every single running back, maybe a running back doesn't get hurt and miss the games. It happens every year. Like that's my point. He hasn't had any major injuries. Yes, he's probably going to get nicked up again. That happens every year to almost every single running back. Guys miss games. How many times Saquon misses a game here and there? CMC misses a game here and there. Like, and even the top guys, if you don't the next guys always miss games.
So I get your point, Viking Dave, but here's the thing. So let's say he has a nagging injury, right? What makes you think that the Eagles won't do? All right, we know he has a nagging injury. Let's just split the carries.
I mean, that's probably they use a lot of that. Like Gainwell's going to get 5 carries a game, and then Penny's going to get 8 carries a game, and then Swift will get 12 to 15 carries a game. That's what they do. They rotate those guys, and that's smart. But I don't think Penny's a true threat because he's always hurt, and he will get hurt again.
Yeah.
So I mean, Penny gets hurt. Like he's out for the season every single year.
See this. I'm excited to see how it's going to work out because as a fantasy player, as a dynasty redraft, you can go a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And this is where you prove your knowledge to be a fantasy football player, right? You draft for value, and you get DeAndre Swift. Josh was saying he's a top 5 redraft running back. And then there's me, he's probably going to say, I don't think he is.
He's not that. I think that's a little stretch.
I know.
But I do like him a lot. So we'll see what happens.
That's the thing in Dynasty is you get if this trade happens and I roster him somewhere, which I do, in one spot, my first thought is, okay, who's the contender and what can I get? Right? Because everyone's thinking like, wow, he's going to be I'm not looking to acquire him in Dynasty because I don't want those guys in their second contracts. I don't want those guys on their second teams.
Okay.
I'm ready to move on. But I'm just saying I'm excited for the prospect of him to be finally unleashed because he's never been truly unleashed. Never has. And the value he's going to hold going into the first month or second month into the season is going to be crazy. And you're going to be, if you hold him, you're going to be able to sell him for gold, for worth his what gold? What do they say? Oh, gold of worth his weight or whatever. Because
worth his weight in gold.
Because he's going to produce early on. I guarantee it. Boom, move on, get your haul. That's what I'm doing with DeAndre Swift if I can. I'm holding to the first quarter of the season though, for sure. That's all I got to say. But anyway, move on to the rookies. Bijan Robinson, Atlanta, 8.
Love it.
Amazing.
He's dynasty. He might be RB1. I honestly believe that right now. And he's instantly RB1. He's instantly top 3 at the lowest. And I think he's 1 or 2 right now.
Top 3 at the lowest. I can go
dynasty, yeah.
So I honestly, because I was doing this today, I'm like, who can be above Bijan right now? Who would I put above Bijan? And I can't think of many players. I mean, can you think of anyone? Because I sure can't.
No, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, who I think is still going to be really good. But if I have the chance, I'm going to take the younger guy. you're starting all over. CMC, if you want to win right this minute, and I mean everybody wants to
It
win
might
right
be
this minute,
Bijan. It might
but
be Bijan.
but he's older. Like you're not going to take CMC over Bijan in that offense. We saw what Tyler Algier did. Was he a 5th-round pick? Like and that's not me knocking him. Like he was good last year, but like he's clearly just a guy. Like he played pretty well. And you got Bijan, who's one of these generational guys who can do it all. You can't not expect him to come in and just absolutely kill it. The team loves to run the ball. They're down by 30 points and they're still running the ball. So it's definitely one of the best fantasy spots that he could have went to, and he's the top 3 guy instantly, and I think he's probably 1 or 2, to be honest.
Yes. G, do you love this spot or do you want somewhere else?
That's the best spot he could have landed in.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. Like, you just had a guy from BYU, 4th round. I mean, tell me the last running back that you thought was great from BYU, Jamal Williams. And he just barely hit. I didn't even think he was that great. I think the last running back that I can remember that was actually relevant from BYU. Oh, wait, I don't remember one. That's the way I put it.
Right.
I mean, Tyler Algier value is dead. As a handcuff, great. But Bijan Robinson, he just landed in the ultimate prize for a running back. Not only that, I tell people this. He just got draft capital, 108. That tells you something. Because Arthur Blank is going to do the same thing he always done. Derrick Henry, and now he has Bijan Robinson. I love Derrick Henry. I've always loved Derrick Henry. But when you're going to do the same thing and you have can I cuss on this podcast? I'm sorry.
Go for it.
When you have a shitty quarterback like Ryan Tannehill, and then you have a shitty quarterback like Desmond Ridder, what are you going to do? You're going to rely on your running back, and you're going to rely on your weapons like, well, at least you have some, unlike the Titans. Drake London, Kyle Pitts. That's great. But you're always going to rely on the Arthur Blank style. What did they do last year when they were down by 18 points? They ran the ball.
Yep.
That's the thing. I never got that about the Falcons. And when you have Bijan Robinson in the best landing spot, I love it. Like, I honestly, 101, Bijan Robinson, no matter what. Don't matter
No matter what? What if you have Brees, Kinwalker, and a CMC? Still taking Bijan?
Oh, wait. So we're talking overall dynasty ranking. So I have Bijan Robinson right now. I believe 101 to me. So like, are we just talking like dynasty ranking?
Yeah, let's do dynasty rankings roll. Because when you were
Are you
gone,
talking rookie draft or overall startup draft?
Overall,
because those are 2 different things.
Overall startup, because rookie.
Overall startup draft, I think I would have him 104.
In
So
a
who are the
super
3
flex,
guys?
I would have Justin Jefferson number 1. Are we doing super flex?
It's always super flex. Every
Always.
single time. Everybody does super flex.
I would have him.
That's why I'm like, wait, what are we talking about here?
My bad. That's why we have to be very
very specific.
So dang, I have to look at my ranking. But Superflex, I don't think I would have him at all.
We're talking about non-quarterbacks. You'd take him 4th overall.
You would have.
Is that what you're saying? I'm asking you. That's what you just said, right? You said 4.
So non-Superflex.
Non-QBs, I'm just saying. Take out the quarterback.
Just take quarterbacks out of the equation.
You have to go Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
I would definitely have Bijan 104. I would have him. I would have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and then Bijan.
Ooh, you have CeeDee that high.
3.
Okay, I didn't
know
that.
So you agree that Bijan's the RB1?
Oh yeah,
because that's what I said. Okay, I agree.
I think one thing people don't understand about Bijan, he was drafted in the 1st round, right? You have 7 years of his services. You don't have 5, because guess what? Whoever drafted him can franchise tag him for 2 years extra. And that's the thing I don't think people get. Like, obviously, so Zeke, how does his contract, like, it went on for 5 years, 4 years, and then he just kept getting, all right, this is the contract. You're going to franchise tag me? Cool. But, like, there's other running backs. Like, I think people forget the longevity of running backs sometimes in the 1st round. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was never going to get a contract.
It depends on how good he is. If he's as good as advertised and he does well, yes, he'll be a solid 7-year running back. But obviously, I mean, you never. The thing is, only thing. Let me say only thing, but injuries. That's what happens at running backs. Sometimes like Javonte Williams. We all loved him last year, and then he gets hurt, and now nobody wants him. That's what sucks. It really sucks. So I agree. I think Bijan's one of those guys that you can take, be very confident in him for easily 5 to 8 years, and like you said earlier, play in 3-year windows, so you're getting more than that out of him, most likely, unless something devastating happens. You would assume that he's going to be great for that amount of time. So I agree.
All right, so I got a question in the chat. We're not going to talk IDP, Anthony, because this is strictly just we're talking running backs right now. But you asked about Devin A-Chain. You just put Bevan A-Chain. I assume you want us to talk about A-Chain in Miami because we are part of the Finstock Sports Network. We want to hear Miami Dolphins. Do we like this draft pick by Miami with A-Chain? Hell to the yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
This speaks. If I ever saw a pick that speaks the system, it's Devon A-Chain. What do all the 49ers system have? Fast-ass running backs.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing Mostert. It's fast as hell. And now you've got Devon A-Chain. Look, just go look at all the Shanahan running backs. They're all fast as hell. Devon A-Chain, smoke all of them. For sure. Smoke all of them. You tell me one of the running backs that are fast as him? None of most are pretty fucking fast. He's an Olympic sprinter. But when you have a guy like Devon A-Chain, and I get it. But here's the thing. Sometimes draft capital matters. In Devon A-Chain, like the draft capital he got, I love it. Because
was he a 3rd-round pick?
He was 84th overall.
3rd round.
Yep.
3rd round. I love it because it fit very perfect with him. 3rd round, take it. You have to take it because guess what? His size was a problem. 187, 5'9". I mean, you don't want that in your running back, right? But there's certain system that matters. The 49ers system, we've seen this happen. The running backs are not that big. It happened. Unless you trade for Christian McCaffrey. I mean, that's different. But we're getting a 3rd-round capital. I think I'm going to take a gamble. I might be the only one on this. You guys might disagree. But I like him in probably the 109 to 113 range in a super fight. And I'm going to take a gamble because I believe that Mike McDaniel and his system, we haven't seen the ceiling.
I agree. 109 is a little high for me. I do want him. I was hoping, now that you're saying 109, he'll probably creep up as offseason goes along and camps go along. Like we've seen Dameon Pierce creep up boards as well. I just like some of these guys a little bit more, like a Jahmyr Gibbs or some of these receivers we'll get to pretty soon. But what do you think about Zach Charbonnet going to Seattle? I hate this move. Beyond awful. So I'm very upset with this.
It kills 2 guys' values instead of just one.
Yes.
Like Walker takes a hit, Charbonnet takes a hit. They do like to run like a little bit of a committee, a little bit. It's not a true committee, but now you don't think Walker's going to get the full majority, right? Because Charbonnet, he's a 2nd-round pick. Like that's we talk about draft capital. He's a 2nd-round guy, so he's going to get some play. You would imagine. I think I heard that he'll probably be the pass catching guy. So they both could hopefully still have some value. They'll probably both be guys you don't really want to have because their upside's a little bit limited. So yeah, this definitely knocks down 2 guys. I know a lot of people really like Charbonnet. Hoping he would go to like a Miami or Atlanta or someplace, that he could really have a chance to be a true number 1. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen for now. And now I guess all we can do is hope that they get enough work for both of those guys. But then you got these receivers that they just drafted. And, JSN, they got DK, you still got Lockett. Like they got a lot of weapons, which is good. But there's only one ball, and I don't know if their offense is as good as someone like Philly. So you got a lot. You definitely got to knock him down your board a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I'm staying away from Charbonnet in all draft formats. What about you, G?
Dude, my heart was so broken, dude. My heart was so broken. Like, I watched the whole NFL draft at my house, and then the first round. In the second round, I watched it with my brother, and I have a twin. I don't know if you know this, but I have a twin, and we looked at each other like, "F you, Pete Carroll," and like we
Mhm.
said the same word, but maybe my one word apart. That's the way we looked at each other, and we were like, "How do you do?" Like the thing is, like it's funny because, and I think I saw on your Twitter, Josh, you said everybody has a different opinion on Twitter the night before, or something like similar to like they have opinion, but like, dude, Twitter is the most
Toxic.
misguided thing in the world. I swear, they can say an opinion about a player, and they can say an opinion to hide those facts and try to trick people. But
Mhm.
I think that Charbonnet's value, it, it died. It died because let's be honest here. We had Zach Charbonnet top 3 picks, top 4 picks as a running back. And right now, I don't even know where you feel comfortable taking him.
If
I
I
mean,
had
he's still a
Walker,
second round guy, so probably just later in the first round, I would think. I mean, what happens if Walker goes down? He's an instant stud. You would just imagine. So I mean, yeah, you got to have a little bit more luck now, but I would think he still goes late in the first round.
So
alright,
so so to
uh,
ask that so to ask like the Zach Charbonnet thing, I have to do a reverse thing on this podcast, and I have to ask this for advice from you guys, two sharp minds, Josh, Viking Dave. Like, if you had Kenneth Walker, are you selling him or are you keeping him?
Josh has Kenneth Walker.
I have Kenneth Walker, and I'm gonna keep him because he
You
looked.
both have Kenneth Walker. Stop lying.
Yeah,
I don't. I don't have him anywhere.
yeah. Dave has no shares of Kenneth Walker. I have a couple, I'm gonna keep him because I saw what he did, and he's explosive. He's great. I think
Right.
he's a great player. I just think that the league is going to this 2 to 3 running back system that we see it all the time. Even Philadelphia was doing it with Boston Scott, Gainwell, and Miles Sanders last year. Everyone is going to try to do it because why not? These guys are interchangeable. They really are. So if they thought, hey, we need someone behind Kenneth Walker because they had nobody else that I know about, why not use the second round capital on Charbonnet? You're going all in with Geno this year. You're going all in with these guys. You got JSN, score some points, and that division's up for grabs. I see this as we want to win now because we think we could win now move rather than this guy's going to be a talent for years. They want players now. We have a question in the chat from Anthony. One more about A-Chain, then we're going to move on to receivers. He wants to know if he gained 20 to 30 pounds, which is very difficult. I
That's a
might
lot.
add. That's a lot. Will he lose any of explosiveness, speed, athleticism?
Nobody's getting that kind of weight. That's too much to go from. I think, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a dietitian or anything, but that's a lot of weight to gain. And I would think he would lose something, but again, I don't know. That's a different question for some.
Wait,
That's above my pay grade. I don't know what to say to that.
who would gain that much weight?
A-Chain, if he gained 20 to 30 pounds.
If he's 5'9", that's hard to.
He
That
wouldn't
seems
even
like a
gain
lot.
10 pounds.
Yeah, that's almost physically impossible to do in
Like
one
I
season.
know I'm talking. I know I'm talking with a full shirt on, and I don't have a cut off sleeve like these two buff guys.
With a tank top
But I
twins,
couldn't
baby.
even gain 10 pounds over the next 3 months. I'm sorry, Viking Dave. I'm sorry, Josh Kimmel. I'm not as buff as you guys. Give me a break.
No,
I'm the opposite of buff. Don't worry.
I honestly think if he gained 10 pounds over the next offseason, not this off, it's impossible. It's physically impossible. He had to get into a totally different routine. He was training to get drafted. Not training to bulk up. So if he does, sure, but he won't lose that much athleticism or speed if he gains the right kind of. He doesn't want to gain the Leonard Fournette weight. Let's put it that way.
Dad weight.
Here's the thing I think about Devin Nation. People want him to be Jamal Charles, but he's not going to be Jamal Charles. That's it.
Yeah, I can go. I can be down with that. We're gonna go over to the receiver situation over here. There's some deep ones. I want to hear your. We've been talking about the studs all night. Gee, what's your like late round guys that you're looking forward to? Yeah, I need that. I need that. I know the easy. I know the studs. I need some sleepers.
On the Going For You podcast that I was on, which is our mainstream, for me, I said Jonathan Mingo would go in the first round. I said that on a mock draft. Well, he wasn't that far off from the first round. Jonathan Mingo went to the Carolina Panthers, and I was
39th.
like, "Damn!" I thought I'm not that far off. So my evaluation, what I saw on the film, what I saw on his size, what I saw the NFL would think, it was pretty close. But Jonathan Mingo is my guy. I just drafted him right now in the 111 in a one quarterback league. I just drafted him. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna take Jonathan Mingo. And you know the feedback I got? Who's that?
Really?
I'm
People
like,
are
Who drafted
clueless.
Who picked him?
Carolina, 39th overall.
Oh, they need a good guy because all they got is bums, like I just named earlier.
Yeah, I do like Mingo a lot, but he is going up in a super flex. I saw him go at 110 a couple days ago.
I mean, he got good draft capital, like you said. They got what Ole Thalen. Chark's a decent player, but he's nothing special. Terrence Marshall, we know he can't get open to anything but air. So, I mean, they need some options out there.
I mean, he's not wrong. I like, so if I had to go with these guys specifically, Mingo, Addison, and Flowers, and I'm not trying to piss you off, Dave. I think I'm going Mingo 1 though over
No, you're
Addison.
not. No, you're not.
I think I am.
guarantee you're not.
You're
You're,
going
you're
over
just saying that.
Addison?
You're just saying that. It's fine.
I think I am. I think I am because of two reasons. I don't like drafting receivers whenever there is a question at quarterback. What are they going to do when Kirk Cousins moves on? Is it going to be a situation where they get an average bum guy in there and they can only feed Jefferson? And now we're looking at Addison as the guy who could be, but they don't have the talent to get him the ball. I don't like to go into that transition year of quarterbacks when I draft a receiver.
Yeah, but the thing is, tell me the last time the Vikings don't try to go out there and get the best quarterback.
Yeah, they do make moves to get quarterbacks. You're not wrong.
They try to go out there and they get Kirk Cousins. They try to go out there and get Brett Favre. They try to go out there, whatever it is. Dante Culpepper was a legend. Let's be honest here.
Yep. Until they went to Miami.
I don't think they're that dumb when you have obviously, I think they're going to move on to running back. But when you have Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and Viking Dave, I feel like I'm defending your Viking more than anything. I'm
not going to argue with Josh. He said it just to get me going, but it's fine.
I did not say it.
There's no chance he would draft Mingo over Addison. I would bet money on it if it came.
You're right, because I'm not drafting either. I'm not drafting either of them. That's the truth.
If you were in the spot where you had to make a decision, you would take
in
Addison.
all of my leagues, I don't even have a spot where I could pick those guys. That's the honest truth. I'm either at the top or at the very bottom. I don't have a chance for any of these guys in my leagues unless I trade up for them. But
I wish I could be a greater Josh, like in Dynasty and Fantasy.
What are you talking about? What'd you say?
I said I wish I could be as great as you in Fantasy and Dynasty.
I'm not great. I'm really bad. I'm the worst, right, Dave? Right, Viking Dave?
He's
not bad.
He's okay.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm pretty but I say this about Addison. I do like him, but I do worry about that transition year. You look at Los Angeles, Quentin Johnson. You have Herbert locked up. Zay Flowers with Lamar. They just locked him up. Although I'm not a Zay Flowers fan. JSN scares me. JSN scares me because of the whole Geno situation. That does, but I'm still taking him because of the talent. But hey, you gave me a look when you said Zay Flowers. I'm sorry. When was the last time anyone named not Hollywood Brown for one season was great?
I'm not driving. I won't own Flowers at all, and that's exactly why. One, his quarterbacks are not that good at passing. Two, they run the shit out of the ball. Three, they have Odell, which is not a big knock, but he's going to be there. Four, they have Bateman still. Again, kind of whatever. They have Andrews. They don't want to. He's never going to get that volume. Like his best season will probably be something like what Hollywood did a couple years ago, which was good but not great. I don't think he's a guy that I want on my team unless he's just amazing and they takes over. I could see it, but to me, he's at best the 109 in a super flex. And he's probably someone I would rather not have. I just don't want guys on that offense. I don't think it's not a good passing situation unless you're Mark Andrews. And even him last year, he wasn't great. So I agree with that, to be honest.
Do you have a positive things to say about Zay Flowers? G?
I I feel like it's been like a repetitive pattern, but we have to disagree.
I know I don't
love
want
Zay
to.
Flower. I fucking love Zay Flower. I would have Zay Flower 102 as a wide receiver. Um, that's how high I am on him. I love Zay Flower so much. Like I think he just has a dog in him. Like this is a guy, Zay Flower. He showed up. So like when they were trying to recruit him, he showed up. The number was 10 pound under. He showed up like 8 pounds heavier. He showed up to the draft. He was ready for it and everything. For the reason nobody heard about Zay Flower. Tell me, anybody in the fantasy industry that said, "Oh yeah, Zay Flower is a top 5 wide receiver." Nobody. This guy had a dog in him. He fucking like we have Kayshawn Booty. Like this guy was like,
Did he get
"Oh
drafted? Did he even get
yeah,
drafted?
yeah." Like I don't care about him. Honestly, Kayshawn Booty, I wipe my ass with him. That's it. You know.
I just remember he was hyped up, but that's why I was asking because I don't even know where he went. I didn't pay much attention to the draft
I
after.
think. Well, the funny thing, he went to the New England Patriots. You wipe your ass with New England Patriots. That's it.
Oh yeah, I
You
didn't
know.
see that.
And
Oh, he
and,
did.
and that's the thing. Like, I might be very high on Dave. Like, I think Josh saw this in the draft. Well, actually, Josh said that he wasn't even like tuning into
What
draft.
our draft? I literally logged in, made my pick, and left. I don't know anything that happened, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but I kept trying to trade back into the Zay Flower pick, and I'm like, oh my god, I want Zay Flower. I want Zay Flower. I'm so high on Zay Flower. So like, in a super flex league, I probably take him 108, 107.
So you're
That's
excited
how
for
high I am.
56 catches and 832 yards and 2 touchdowns?
Well, that's the thing though. Like we go back to production, right, and all this and all this and everything. But I believe in the talent, in the tape. Like I can go back to this for years, for years. Like last year, I fucked up. I said Sky Moore looked like the guy. I fucked up. It looked bad. But this year, I'm gonna say Zay Flower is my guy, and that's the thing that about like evaluation. We say this, we say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I go back to DK Metcalf. I see the size. He was what a second round, and all this and all that. I just saw his size. I saw his specimen. I'm like, all right, this is my guy. I'm gonna draft. I'm gonna reach. They follow this guy. I'm telling you guys, and it sucks to say this. The comparison I see, besides his, besides his off-field history, Antonio Brown was a dog in him. Antonio Brown was a dog in him. Because just the way he runs his routes, the way he's just like he didn't have the best quarterback. We know that.
Ben Roethlisberger was really good, really good. He's 1,000 times better of a passer than Lamar ever will be. Like that's not even debatable. So, and then they threw the ball 600 times every year. Like that's not going to be the case. And I don't think any of us, me and Josh, are knocking the talent. I think he's a good player and he's got first round capital, which is great for him. But it's that offense that you can't trust a receiver in that offense. I don't think not to be consistently like a top 12 wide receiver. I just don't see that ever happening in his career if he's in Baltimore for a long time. For him to be a fantasy producer at a high level, I feel like he's gonna have to be literally the best receiver in the game for that to happen. Because the he's not going to get the targets. He's not going to get 150, 60, 70 targets probably. He's not going to score enough touchdowns. They run the ball like crazy. Lamar's still going to run. They're still going to have a good running game. So that's the only knock I would say on him, which sucks because we don't like good players going to shitty situations, and I feel like that's just an unfortunate spot for him to land.
Yeah,
that's all.
But they have a different offense coordinator. It's not the same.
But you're gonna play to Lamar's strengths, and Lamar's strength is not passing; it's running. Like that's just, unless something changes, I just need to see it first because Lamar is a good running quarterback. So you're not going to take that away from him, and he's not, Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to make those throws. He's not going to do that. So that's I guess obviously time will tell, but it's just hard for me to envision Flowers being a top 10 or 12 receiver in that offense for multiple years. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not trying to argue with you or anything like that, but like here's the thing: there's a reason why Lamar said Odell Beckham Jr. come here. There's a reason Lamar hasn't signed his contract. and then all of a sudden he has Zay Flowers getting drafted. And then the reason why he might want more. He got Mark Andrews, he has Zay Flower.
They
He
got
has,
some weapons. They got some weapons, that's for sure.
yeah,
So we'll see how it
they,
goes.
they have Bateman. I'm not a big fan of Bateman because I think he's a little pussy. But like Josh, like I don't know, man. Maybe me and Viking might disagree in here, but I think Zay Flower, honestly, I have him 102 right now in
Okay.
rookie draft for wide receiver. I'm saying
Yeah.
102 wide receiver. I'm not saying number one is JSN for sure. JSN, smash that.
I would
No,
probably
yeah,
put Flowers at 4. That's that wide receivers. That's just me personally. But
and I'd probably do Flowers at 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4 as well. I would take Quentin Johnston over him for sure. JSN for sure. Mingo, I already said. But that's just because of opportunity in situation. You're right. They do have a new offensive coordinator, but I'm a big person and I want to see it first before I actually dive in. I like to know what I'm diving into. I don't like to see surprises. Although Dave knows this, Hollywood Brown was my guy. And Rashad Bateman was my guy. So I've been riding and dying with these quarter or receivers for too long. So
Years.
I think I finally hit my limit of like, I'm done. Like I've been you.
Oh,
I've been you before. I've been on the Hollywood bandwagon and I bragged about making the pick. I've been on the Bateman bandwagon and bragged about the pick. And I think I'm done with Zay Flowers.
damn it. He's an Aston fan. He's a Viking fan. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. I get it. I get it, guys. I get it. Because, like, honestly, Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison, and Dave Flowers, you can go 3 ways, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really can go 3 ways. But that's it. And we're not going to get to the tight ends. We do have to get out of here. I do want to say that I'm kind of surprised Buffalo did take Dalton Kincaid, and I think it's perfect. Phenomenal. We all thought Michael Mayer was going to be the top guy. Were you just real quick, 30 seconds, were you guys surprised that Kincaid was the number 1 guy off the board?
I mean, I didn't know enough about the tight ends, but I had heard a lot about Meyer early on. But then as the draft got closer, Kincaid was really shooting up the boards, and so it sounded like it was going to be one of those 2 guys. So it wasn't like some huge stretch. I didn't think once he got picked.
Is Kincaid? Do you value Kincaid close to a Kyle Pitts in this offense because of the volume he's going to get? Because of the volume
No.
he is going to get from a team that throws the ball 600 times rather than a team that throws the ball 400 times. I'm just asking questions.
No.
Okay. All right. That's it.
If I were to have a ranking Kincaid and Mayers, like, it'd be like it doesn't even matter. Like, honestly, I'm not drafting Kincaid. I'm drafting Kincaid number 1 as a tight end overall, but Mayers is not that far off. But tight end premium, it's not going to make a difference because the only way that tight end premium mattered to me is 1.75 tight end premium and 2 point tight end premium. After that, I don't care about any of the tight ends in this draft.
Love it. Neither do I. We are out of here. We are part of the Fins Talk Sports Network. You can follow Gerson Aguirre at Fantasy GDFS. Go ahead and plug your show that you were on before us.
Yeah, so basically I do the DFS stuff on Daily Fantasy Sports. So it's DraftKings, FanDuel on every Friday show during the season, at Armchair Fantasy Show and GoingFor2.com. And we always do fantasy stuff, but I'm not on it because honestly, I don't do that much fantasy stuff into the off season like right now. But just follow me on there at Fantasy GFS, and we'll go from there, man.
Perfect. And Dave, you can find Viking Dave, of course, at Viking Dave 18. Find me at Josh Kimmel OUS. Again, you can find the network's handle at Fins Talk Sports Network. If you enjoyed me, I will be on this network tomorrow night, Monday, the Beer and Sports Podcast with Josh Wingate. Make sure you subscribe to the network to see all of our awesome shows. We have a Monday through Friday rundown, shows every single night, all Dolphin Central, and a couple out here, basketball. We don't have a baseball show yet, but we should probably get that going. But until next week, Bobby, can you hit our music?